This is Harry Arons. These recordings are intended to supplement the information contained in my books, The Master Course in Hypnotism and The Techniques of Speed Hypnosis. They are not to be reproduced or otherwise duplicated, either in part or in their entirety, without permission in writing. It is not to be assumed or inferred that the induction procedures contained in these recordings will actually produce the hypnotic state in anyone. The intention is purely and simply to supply instruction material. The first side of Record 1 contains two excellent preliminary susceptibility tests, the arms rising and falling test and the improved permissive hands clasp test. The first test, the arms rising and falling test, is suitable for use with almost any kind of subject. When well executed, it affords the operator a clear picture of the degree of susceptibility of his subjects. It can be applied with equal effectiveness to individuals or with groups of subjects. Now instruct your subjects to stand erect but relaxed, with their feet together, heels together, arms hanging loosely at their sides. Then tell them to close their eyes and to keep them closed until you instruct them otherwise. Continue in the following vein, speaking in a full, pleasant, but penetrating voice. Keep your eyes closed. Just listen to my voice. Follow my simple instructions. This is a test of your ability to visualize things. It illustrates the strength of your imagination, the power of your own mind over your own body. Now, with your eyes closed, raise both arms forward and upward until they are at shoulder level. Palms should be facing one another. Now, here's where your imagination comes in. If you have a good imagination, and I think that you do have, you will almost be able to see your hands as they are outstretched before you. You will see them in your mind's eye, so to speak. So visualize them, picture them in your mind, and now let's go a step further. Think that your right arm is slowly beginning to rise of its own accord, and your left arm is slowly beginning to fall. Think of that. Visualize it. Your right arm rising, your left arm falling. Your right arm going up, your left arm going down. Your right arm rising, higher and higher, and your left arm falling, lower and lower. Right arm rising, that's it. Left arm falling. Fine, fine. Right arm going up, up, up. Left arm going down, down, down. Right arm rising, higher and higher. Left arm falling, lower and lower. Right arm higher, left arm lower. Now open your eyes and look at your hands. The interjections, "that's it," and "fine, fine," are used for effect. The subjects do not actually know whether there have been any reactions. They may interpret your interjections as meaning that something has already happened, whether it has or not, as a result of which more reactions tend to follow. You continue the suggestions until you notice the desired effects, or until 3 or 4 minutes have elapsed. Then you tell your subjects to open their eyes and look at their hands. Watch their expressions and other reactions. The best subjects are often surprised to see how far their arms have separated. The average good subject will explain that he felt his arms separating, but that the movements were entirely involuntary. The poor subjects have had little or no reactions. Occasionally, a subject will show negative reactions. That is, his left arm will rise and his right arm will fall. This usually means that he actively resisted and, being unable to see his hands, overcompensated in his resistance. He may turn out to be a good subject under better circumstances. The next test is the improved permissive hands clasp test. The subject may stand or sit, though the sitting position is preferable. The operator's position is unimportant. The subject is instructed to place his hands together and to intertwine his fingers lightly, but not to squeeze or to clasp his hands tightly together. No direct eye stare is used in this method. The subject is told to keep his eyes on his own hands and to watch for the reactions that will follow. The operator speaks matter-of-factly, earnestly, softly. He does not raise his voice or become authoritarian at any time. At this point, Wahlberg and others of the hypnoanalytic school tell the subject to imagine that his hands are the jaws of a steel vise which is being tightened by the turning of a handle or screw on one side. He is to keep this idea in mind, as a result of which his hands will involuntarily tighten more and more until in a short time they will be locked so tightly that he will be unable to open them. This is an excellent technique and certainly superior to the old stage hypnotist's method, in which the subject begins by squeezing his hands very tightly together. The modern version is especially suitable for those subjects who resent the dominating authoritarian approach. I prefer to vary the technique slightly, however. I have found some subjects who feel that picturing their hands as a vice seems incongruous and unreal. In my variation, I proceed somewhat as follows. Gaze steadily at your hands as you hold them before you with fingers lightly intertwined. Gaze at them and listen while I tell you what is about to happen. In a short while, you will probably begin to feel certain reactions in your hands. We know from experience with others what some of these reactions are. First, you may feel a slight movement, perhaps a twitching, in one of your fingers. Then perhaps a tightening sensation in the ligaments of your forearms or hands. These reactions are usually followed by a gradual but steady tightening of one hand against the other, a clasping and locking of the fingers of both hands. All these reactions will occur involuntarily, entirely of their own accord. All you need to do is think, imagine, picture mentally that your hands are gradually tightening and becoming clasped and locked together. Get this picture in your mind and keep it there. The rest will follow of its own accord. You will actually feel these reactions, tautening and tightening of the ligaments in your arms, your wrists, your hands, your fingers, like the strings of a violin being tuned. A whitening of the knuckles as your hands become more and more tightly clasped. A tense, hard, tight sensation in your hands and fingers. Perhaps also a feeling of numbness as your hands become more and more tightly locked. A feeling almost as if your hands and arms have a mind and spirit of their own, as without any voluntary help they become tightly, very tightly clasped together. You can now see the increasing whiteness of your knuckles. You can feel the steady tightening of one hand against the other, the taut sensation of the ligaments in your arms, your hands, and your wrists. This is increasing steadily, becoming tighter and tighter, your hands and fingers becoming locked, your fingers tightly locked, tightly intertwined. Your hands are locked so tightly now that you are unable to open them. I shall count to 3, and when I say 3, you will try to open your hands, but you will find that you are powerless to do so. Now 1, your hands are becoming more and more tightly locked, very, very tight. 2, very, very tight, and you are unable to open them. The knuckles are white, your hands are stuck, and you simply cannot open your hands. 3, your hands are stuck, tightly stuck together, and you are quite powerless to open them. You simply cannot open your hands. Try, but you cannot open them. The harder you try, the tighter they lock. Now, stop trying. At this point, if it is considered that the test worked well in every way, the subject can be projected promptly into a full-fledged hypnotic state. If this is advisable, the stop trying suggestion is omitted. Actually, the test is a fleeting hypnotic trance in itself. The conviction that he is unable to unclasp his hands is often sufficient to carry him into a hypnotic state if the operator decides to proceed in that direction. When the test is used as a test only, the subject is simply told that now he can open his hands, and he does so, and this ends the test. The following is the progressive relaxation test. In preparing to administer this test, you ask your subject to be seated so that you may proceed to demonstrate how easily he can master the art of relaxation. Here you can extol the wonders of being able to relax fully and profoundly. Explain that many of our ills are due to tension caused by the strains of competitive living. That a few minutes of progressive relaxation a day can result in great benefit to the individual. That ordinary headaches and other symptoms of tension often automatically disappear as soon as we become completely relaxed. In a casual, matter-of-fact manner, tell him to make himself as comfortable as possible and to close his eyes so that he may relax more easily. Make suggestions as follows. The relaxation procedure is really quite a simple one, as you are about to learn. After you've closed your eyes, the first thing you want to do is make sure that your teeth and your jaws are not clenched and tense. The area of the jaws and throat plays an important part in relaxing or in the failure to do so. So open your mouth slightly. Separate your jaws just a bit. Make sure your teeth are not clenched. Fine. Now your throat muscles will have a better chance to relax. We will now proceed to relax every part of your body progressively. While we are doing this, you will hear my voice clearly and distinctly, even though it may go down to a whisper from time to time. You will be aware of your surroundings, although you may care less and less about what goes on around you. Now, as you sit there quietly, direct your thoughts to the general area of your throat, and think, imagine that your throat muscles are becoming relaxed. Do this easily, effortlessly, that's important, as effort tends to defeat its own purpose. Now direct your thoughts to the top of your head, your scalp, and think that whatever tension exists there is rapidly vanishing. Your scalp is becoming less and less taut, and the top of your head is becoming completely relaxed. Now think of your forehead and your eyes, and all the small muscle groups in that region, and permit these muscles to become relaxed. Just let yourself go, and relaxation in this area will naturally follow. Now return for a moment to the throat area. You should be able to actually feel now how much more relaxed this region is than it was before we started. Relaxed, fully, completely relaxed. Simply by thinking of certain parts of your body, by dwelling on the idea of those parts becoming relaxed, you are able to throw off all tension like a mantle, and with it all fatigue and irritation. That's what relaxation can do for you. Now visualize your neck and your shoulders, and permit your neck and shoulder muscles to relax. Just let your shoulders go limp and heavy, and let them relax completely. Now think of your chest. Think of all the muscles and organs within your chest, and let these relax completely. Place your attention upon the region of your diaphragm, and relax your diaphragm. Completely relax. Your abdomen, all the muscles and organs within that area, permit them all to become flaccid and relaxed. Now the pelvic region, and relax that region completely, fully, completely relaxed. Think of your thighs, and relax all your muscles within your thighs. Your knees, the calves of your legs, relax them all. Relax all those muscles, fully, completely relaxed. Your ankles, your feet, your very toes are relaxed, fully relaxed. Just let yourself go completely. Just go limp all over. Permit every organ, every fiber of your being to become completely, profoundly relaxed. It feels so restful, so pleasant to be fully relaxed. You are now completely relaxed. The condition in which you are at present is called progressive relaxation. It is the nth degree of relaxation, a state that very few people can attain unaided. In this condition, you are so profoundly relaxed that you don't seem to care what goes on around you, although you can hear my voice very clearly and distinctly. Your arms and your legs, if you think of them for a moment, feel rather heavy. They are so relaxed, and also quite numb and dull, although pleasantly so. In fact, your entire body feels heavy in this condition. Heavy, so very heavy, that it seems that it would require a superhuman effort to move a single muscle. Your eyes especially, the muscles around your eyes, your eyelids feel so heavy and relaxed that it seems they are glued shut. Your eyelids are heavy as lead, so heavy that it seems it would be impossible to raise them. The muscles controlling your eyes are so relaxed, so very flaccid and limp, that you probably could not activate them, could not open your eyes if you tried. When I say 3, not before then, I want you to try to open your eyes, but you may be amazed to find that you are so completely powerless to move those muscles, you are quite unable to open your eyes. I'll count to 3, and on every count your eyes will become more and more relaxed, your muscles in that area more and more flaccid and limp. And when I reach the count of 3, you will find that you are unable to open your eyes, completely powerless to raise your eyelids. Now, 1. Your eyes are stuck tightly together. The muscles around your eyes are relaxed, flaccid, inert, limp. 2. Your eyelids are heavy as lead. Your eyes are stuck, tightly stuck, and you cannot open them. You are completely powerless to open your eyes. You cannot open them. You cannot open them. 3. They're stuck, tightly stuck. You cannot open your eyes. You simply cannot open them. Try, but you cannot open them. The harder you try, the more impossible it is to open your eyes. They're stuck, tightly stuck. Now stop trying and relax completely. This ends the test. If you intended it only as a test, you can simply at this point tell the subject that he now can open his eyes, and he will do so. However, should you wish to project the subject into hypnosis proper at this point, the procedure is very simple. In fact, the job has already been done, although the subject is unaware of the fact. The truth of the matter is, when a person is unable to open his eyes, he is in hypnosis to all intents and purposes. But so long as you have not used the word hypnosis or the word sleep, he has no reason to suspect that he is actually hypnotized. So instead of telling him to open his eyes, you instruct him to relax even more and proceed to make further suggestions to deepen the state. From this point, you can continue with more advanced tests, such as the arm catalepsy and other tests, just as you would with an ordinary subject. But just as during the induction procedure, you must avoid the use of the words hypnosis and the use of the word sleep if you wish to keep the subject ignorant of the fact that he was really under hypnosis. To awaken him, you do not tell him to wake up as you ordinarily would. Instead, you simply tell him that on a count of 5 or at some similar signal, he will come out of his state of progressive relaxation. He will open his eyes and feel perfectly fine in every way and much refreshed after the few minutes of complete relaxation. The method which follows is called the intermittent counting and suggestion method. It is always used in conjunction with fixation. That is, the subject, who is seated comfortably, is instructed to direct his gaze to some object which is held or placed before him. The object may be a stationary hypnodisc, or it may be one of the moving or revolving variety, such as the revolving mirrors or the revolving hypnoscopes with spiraling or whirling designs painted on them. Suggestions are made as follows. Please look at the disc. Direct your gaze at it. Focus your attention upon it, but do it easily, as effortlessly as possible. As your attention becomes fixed on a disc, you will gradually become very relaxed. You will become more and more relaxed as I go on. Your arms and legs will slowly develop a rather numb and dull feeling, a pleasant numbness and dullness, and a peculiar heavy sensation. This numbness and dullness, this relaxing heaviness, will become more and more profound as I talk to you. You'll become more and more relaxed, more drowsy and more sleepy, and then I will begin to count. I will count slowly from 1 to 20. As I count, you will find your relaxed feeling becoming deeper and deeper. Your arms and legs will get heavier and heavier. Your entire body will get heavy with a deep, dull, sleepy feeling. Your breathing will become deep and regular, and your entire body will get heavy with sleep. Your head, too, will become very, very heavy, and will feel like drooping forward or perhaps to one side. Your eyes will become very tired as you gaze upon the disk. Your eyes will begin to play tricks on you. Everything will become blurred and indistinct. There will be a haze all around the disk. Everything will seem to recede into the distance, and your eyes will become more and more tired. Your eyelids will get heavy as lead, heavier and heavier, until it will be hard, very hard, to keep your eyes open. All the while, you will be getting drowsier and sleepier, and more relaxed in every part of your body, every fiber of your being. Finally, it's able to keep your eyes open. They will blink and become very tired and bleary. Then they will close and you will fall into a deep, sound sleep. As I count, then, you'll become more and more drowsy and sleepy. And then, when I say 20, your eyes will close and remain closed, and you will fall into a deep and sound, hypnotic sleep. Often the eyes close even before the count of 20 is reached, but usually it happens on the count of 20. Then your eyes close, your head will droop and fall forward or to one side, and you will go into a deep, sound, relaxing sleep. Now I shall begin to count. 1. You are so relaxed. You are relaxing more and more fully, more and more profoundly. Your breathing is deep and regular. You feel so comfortable. It is so pleasant to feel yourself relaxing more and more. 2. Your eyes are becoming rather heavy and tired. Your arms are getting that numbness, that dullness, and that heaviness that I mentioned before. Your legs, too, are getting strangely heavy, very heavy and dull. A strange but pleasant numbness is setting in, making you feel more and more sleepy and relaxed all over. 3, 4, 5. More and more relaxed. Your breathing is getting deeper and more regular. Your eyes are getting tired, and your eyelids feel heavy as lead. 6, 7, 8, 9. So very tired and drowsy. You are getting more and more drowsy and sleepy. The disk is becoming blurred and indistinct. Every count seems to act as a signal to your subconscious, and you are becoming more and more drowsy and sleepy on every count. Finally, when I say 20, your eyes will close, and you will fall into a deep, sound, hypnotic sleep. 10, 11. Very drowsy and sleepy now. Very drowsy and sleepy and tired. Your eyelids feel so heavy, heavy as lead. Your eyes are narrowing down to slits. It is becoming very hard to keep them open. Your breathing is getting deeper and more regular, and your relaxation is becoming more and more profound on every count. 12. More and more relaxed. Very, very drowsy and sleepy. Your arms and legs feel so heavy, numb, and dull. Your entire body feels heavy with sleep. Soon, on a count of 20, your eyes will close, your head will fall forward on your chest or slightly to one side, and you will fall into a deep, sound, relaxing, hypnotic sleep. As I count, you are falling still more and more into a deep and sound, hypnotic sleep. Each and every count is making you more and more sleepy. 13. Very, very sleepy and tired. 14. Very, very drowsy and sleepy. Your breathing is deep and regular. Your arms and legs feel so heavy, so numb, so dull. You're getting sleepier and sleepier with every breath you take. Sleepier and sleepier on every count. 15. Your entire body feels so heavy with a deep, dull, sleepy feeling. On each and every count, you're getting closer and closer to a hypnotic state. Finally, when I say 20, your eyes will close, your head will droop and fall forward, and you will fall into a deep, sound sleep on the count of 20. 16. Very, very sleepy. Very, very tired. 17. You are about to fall into a deep and sound sleep. 18. Very, very tired. Very, very sleepy. Your eyelids feel so very, very heavy. It is so hard to keep your eyes open. Your eyelids are beginning to droop. Your eyelids want to close. When I say 20, your eyes will close, and you will fall into a deep, deep sleep. Your eyes are so very, very tired now. It is so hard to keep them open. So very, very hard to keep them open. When I say 20, your eyes will close. Your head will droop and fall forward, and you will go into a deep, deep sleep on the count of 20. Each and every count has a peculiar power to put you into a still deeper and deeper sleep. Finally, when I say 20, it will be impossible to keep your eyes open. They will close, your head will droop and fall forward, and you'll go into a deep, deep sleep on the count of 20. Even now, your eyelids feel so very, very heavy. It's so hard to keep your eyes open. Your eyelids are beginning to droop. Your eyes are beginning to close. 19. Very, very hard to keep your eyes open. They are narrowed down to slits. You are ready to go into a deep, deep sleep. Ready to go into a deep, deep sleep. Your eyes are closing now. They're barely open. It's so hard to keep them open. Your eyes are beginning to close now. Your eyelids are drooping down over your eyeballs. Your eyes are closing. Now 20. Close your eyes and go into a deep, deep sleep. Go into a deep and go into a sound and restful sleep. Very deep, very sound, very restful sleep. Everything is fading away from you. Everything is receding into the distance, and you are going into a deep, deep sleep. Very deep and very sound sleep. You are now in a deep and sound sleep and under the complete control of your own subconscious mind. Deep and sound asleep. The induction method which follows is especially suited for use on those subjects who tend to be analytical. Because of its permissive character, the subject gets the feeling at the outset that he is actively participating in a procedure. At the same time, elements of other methods, including fixation, counting, and intermittent counting and suggestion, are interwoven in such a way that the entire procedure appears sound and well integrated. The subject is seated in a comfortable chair, with his feet flat on the floor and his hands on his thighs or on the arms of the chair. His head does not rest against the back of the chair, but remains upright and balanced easily on his shoulders. The operator is seated in front or to one side of the subject, in a relaxed position that he can maintain comfortably. The operator now produces a large ring which he places upon the subject's forefinger, choosing the hand which was levitated during the arms rising and falling test. Should the subject already be wearing a ring which is deemed suitable, it is permissible to utilize it instead. The operator then proceeds. Make yourself as comfortable as you can, but keep your head erect in a normal position. Your feet should be flat on the floor. Now look down at the ring on your fingers and focus your attention easily on any point of the ring which is reflecting the light. Now keep your gaze steady, but do not exert any unusual effort. Keep looking at that reflection of light without removing your gaze for an instant. That's the only thing that you are required to do. Everything else that will happen from here on will come about of its own accord, without any conscious effort or help on your part. You are now as relaxed as you can be under the circumstances, and you are sitting there apparently quite motionless. But are you really motionless? It may surprise you to learn that it is not possible to maintain an absolutely motionless position for any length of time, as you will soon observe. As you sit there, with your gaze fixed upon the ring, listening to my voice, place your mental attention on your hand and arm, and see if you cannot notice certain reactions in that general area. It is important that you do not look away from the ring at any time. Just regard your hand and arm mentally. If you want to observe, feel may be a better word, what goes on in that part of your body. Yes, you will soon begin to notice some of these things. I do not know exactly what will become noticeable to you first. Every person is different and tends to react in an individual manner. I only know from experience what has happened with other subjects. Some begin to feel slight movements in the fingers. One finger seems to start to react, and then others follow. It might only be a slight twitch at first. Some report itching or tingling sensations in various parts of the hand, perhaps in the fingertips, on the back of the hand, or in the palm. Some feel tensing or pulsing sensations, and others feel the ligaments tightening up, and so on and so forth. Perhaps you already begun to notice some of these things. Perhaps one of your fingers will twitch slightly. There, I believe I actually saw such a movement in your little finger. Place your attention mentally on that finger now. Try to analyze what has happened. Think about it, and see if you can anticipate the next reaction. Perhaps it will be another movement somewhere, or perhaps merely a sensation. Some subjects report that their hands and arms develop a cool, light feeling. This may happen to you next. This coolness and lightness usually increases gradually but steadily. There may also be a slight spreading of the fingers, or perhaps they may come closer together instead. In many people, the fingers and hands begin to arch slightly, as if the hand is about to rise from the thigh. This is one thing that occurs in almost every subject, regardless of the variety of reactions in the hand and fingers. In most subjects, the hand eventually becomes so light that it rises slowly from its position on the thigh or on the arm of the chair and gradually floats right up into the air. This happens involuntarily, entirely of its own accord. By now you have probably experienced quite a few of these reactions and sensations, and still more will follow. Perhaps your arm is already beginning to feel the upward pull. It probably feels very cool and light now. Indeed, it seems that it no longer lies heavily upon your thigh. I can see that your hand is beginning to arch now, slightly, and now only the wrist and fingertips are resting on your thigh. At this point, you probably feel a tightening of the ligaments in your wrist and your forearm. There may also be a tenseness in your fingers. These sensations usually happen just before the arm rises from the thigh. Now it is likely that your arm is developing another sensation, a feeling that it has a spirit, a type of consciousness, all its own. Now it is quite apparent that your fingertips are barely touching your thigh. Your hand and wrist have risen slightly, and only your fingertips are touching. And now, yes, I see your fingers have lost contact with your thigh. Your hand is about half an inch above it, and beginning to rise, slowly but steadily into the air. It feels so strange and cool and light, as entirely of its own accord it rises higher and higher into the air. Your eyes, meanwhile, are fixed on the ring and following it upward in its strange levitation. When your arm reaches shoulder level, it will probably begin to bend at the elbow. Your hand will begin to move in the direction of your face. There, it is doing so already. This movement will proceed in proportion to your inner desire and willingness to go into a state of hypnosis. In fact, it is only when you are completely ready to fall asleep that your hand will touch your face. Even now, you are becoming very, very drowsy and sleepy. Your eyes, though still fixed on the ring, are becoming very tired, and your eyelids feel as heavy as lead. It would feel so good to close your eyes. You must do your utmost, however, to keep your eyes open until your hand actually touches your face. Then it will be a great relief to allow your eyes to close, to permit your head to droop, and to go into a deep, relaxing, hypnotic sleep. You will then be completely ready. Your subconscious mind will indicate this readiness by allowing your hand to touch your face. So your eyes will close and you will fall deep, sound asleep the instant your hand touches your face. Your hand is moving slowly and steadily toward your face now. Your eyes are narrowed to slits, but still fixed on the ring on your finger, moving closer, closer to your face. Perhaps your thumb, perhaps your forefinger, or the back or side of your hand will touch first. As soon as this happens, your eyes will shut tightly, and you'll go into deep hypnosis. You are so sleepy now. Your breathing is deep and regular. Your head and eyelids feel heavy as lead. It will feel so good to let go completely and to fall into a deep, deep sleep. You are almost ready now. Your hand is almost touching. There, your thumb touched your cheek. Your eyes are closing. That's right. Close your eyes tightly now and let yourself go completely. Let yourself fall deep, deep asleep. You are in a deep, hypnotic sleep now, but I am going to project you into a still deeper state. As I talk to you, your arms becoming gradually heavier and will slowly lower down to its previous position on your side. Meanwhile, I shall count from 1 to 20. When I reach 20, your arm will drop onto your thigh, and you will go into the deepest hypnosis possible for you at this time. Now, 1, your arm is becoming heavier and heavier. 2, it is no longer touching your face. 3, you are going deeper and deeper asleep as your arm goes down more and more. 4, it is falling slowly now, lower and lower as I count. 5, 6, 7, 8. You are going still deeper and deeper asleep as I count. 9, 10. When I reach 20, your hand will drop on your lap, and you'll go deep, very deep asleep on that count. 11, 12, 13. Your hand is going down lower and lower. 14, lower and lower on every count. 15, lower and lower as I go on. 16, you're going deeper and deeper asleep as your arm goes lower and lower. 17, soon, very soon, your hand will drop to your lap and you'll go deeply, deeply asleep. 18, your hand is almost touching your thigh now. 19, there it goes. 20, go deep asleep now. Deep, sound asleep. Very deep and very sound asleep. And this ends the induction.